All right, welcome back, everybody. It's another edition of Fresh Forward, and we're your hosts, Liam and Colleen. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, Liam.
It's almost baseball season, and
No.
so today's demo is going to be all about it. Just thought I'd throw that in there because I can't stop thinking about it.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's exciting, especially when the weather is, it's winter and it's dreary and it's
Yeah.
gray and a lot of snow. And you just think, oh,
Mhm.
baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It looks nothing like baseball outside, but a boy can dream.
That's true.
Yeah, we're going to take a closer look at one of the features that was released in the January 2025 Ultra update. That's 3900.100, or sorry, 108. And I think without too much delay, we can just jump in there. Just a reminder for folks who maybe have not seen our videos. Developer note that feature availability is subject to change according to development progress. It's outside of our hands, so some features may be rescheduled for later release compared to what we expected. Today's feature, though, is a nice and easy one to use, and I think fills a significant
Mhm.
gap. So today we're talking about our pick. It was a not direct grade entry for assignments. I've made a terrible, terrible mistake here. I thought I had myself all ready. Let's do this one. Here we are. Number 2 is adding submission attempts for release. You have to watch the other video if you want the other videos. So here we are, is adding submission attempts for release conditions in Blackboard. Um, from the developers at Anthology, instructors can now use item submission status for a release condition. For example, an instructor who wants students to access a document only after submitting a quiz would use a release condition. Students can access content items without needing to wait for a grade to be posted. And it's that last sentence that makes a big difference here. And there is an example here, like you may want students to complete a quiz before accessing content, or maybe that you don't want them to access the quiz until they've read the content. So let's jump into do a demo here. I'm going to open up my course here. There we are. We jumped in, and I am in. See, I told you, sports on the brain. Uh, so we're going to talk about this wonderful course that I'd like to take, sports team management training. And inside this course, we have our first module is Introduction to Adult Rec Softball Management, and I have 3 pieces of content. So there's casting a vision as this is a document here. Then I've got crafting a vision for your team as an assignment and designing a winning culture. I'm actually just going to reorder this and say, here we are. We've got a task, some content, and another task. Uh, let's just switch this to, let's make this visible as our first task. And perhaps we want to say the students can't complete this piece of, they can't complete this content until they've responded to this task. So it might be an engagement activity or a pre-assessment, for example, and then we want them to see the content. So we have this here. And we're going to, it's really actually straightforward. We're going to click this icon down here where it's the drop down is set currently to visible, and we'll change that to release conditions. Now this screen it gives you a few options and can feel a bit overwhelming, but let's say if we go through it piece by piece, it's actually quite approachable. We'll start by changing the name just so we can tell that this rule is all about pre-assessment submission. So pre-assessment submitted. And that's really just for our purpose. I'll hit tab or enter to get that saved so that I can tell when I'm looking at multiple rules that this is what that one is all about. We're going to let this content be available to all members as long as they've met a certain criteria. So we'll come down to the bottom here and we'll click performance. Before I go any further, just to highlight, so this is membership. So is it open to everybody or just one person or one group or specific people or groups? You also have the option to set it available at specific times, which is the classic sort of release condition use. And now we have this performance option with the added submitted. So clicking performance, we then choose a gradable item. I'm going to click that drop down and say, um, we want the designing a winning team, sorry, crafting a vision for your team. That was our pre-assessment. So I'll select that as the item and I will click over here where it says requirement for the grade, and I will say whatever value I choose. I could use 10. It's marked out of 100 points, I think is why it's going 10, 20, 30, 40. You could also click a custom range. Maybe you want the next piece of material only to be available to students who score under a certain value. But for today's demonstration, we're going to use attempt submitted. So we'll click the button there. If you've made a mistake, you can certainly go back and edit it, or if you want to just scrap the whole idea, you can click the trash can to get rid of it. Also, we won't use this today, but I do want to highlight that this add performance criteria is it compounds with the other items. So if you said they had to attempt this submission and they had to get at least 90% on another one, it would be both of those two things. They would have to have attempted one and gotten 90% on the other, but let's keep it nice and simple for today and just say that students need to um, have submitted their attempt. I'm going to click save. And you can see there's the rule right there. And if we wanted to create an alternative access pathway here, we could create add new rule, but let's just save that one there and close. Okay, so now that casting a vision document has a release condition. If we hover over here, it says students must submit at least one attempt on crafting a vision for your team to access this content. And so that's it, really. Let's jump into student preview. Let's make this module visible. And we'll jump into student preview. And here we are. So going into module number 1, we see that the first piece of content is here, crafting a vision for your team. There's the assignment, and then this is the document. But as the students look here, it says that it's not available. They need to at least submit one attempt on crafting a vision for your team to access it. So let's continue along as the students will come in here, clicking the assignment. We'll click view instructions, and we will just say, here's my submission. And we will submit. Click submit, close, and close. So now I've submitted that one piece of work as the student. I can go back in here and you can see even though that essay hasn't been graded by the instructor, I can then move on into the next piece. And I could read whatever the content was if I had loaded any material into here. So the nice part about that, especially for essay sort of questions, if you have a lot of tasks, maybe your students are giving a pre-assessment for how they would approach a problem or what they think of a certain concept before you open up the actual learning material, and you can review that. All of their responses while they're actually accessing the material as you had designed. So I think that probably wraps up our demo, to be honest. So let's switch back into our other mode here. Let me get that out of there. And yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else that I'm
Mhm.
forgetting to say there, Colleen? Or we're
Nope,
okay?
that was great.
All right, then let's go big. I think because I'm looking at that. Okay, um,
That
I,
bothers you?
yeah, there we go. Um, that's all I think for today. Just a reminder, folks. That we have our drop-in sessions are Tuesday and Friday. Oh, right. My goodness, I am out of sorts. Don't forget, everybody, to like the video, subscribe to our channel, let everybody know that you work with that we do great content, and sometimes we just keep you on our toes with me
Mhm.
going off script. So, like and subscribe. Our drop-in sessions are Tuesday and Friday at 10:30. If you're wondering how to find us, the link is in your calendar in Blackboard. Um, I think that's it for us today, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you had a great day.